It used to be LGBTQ. Now it's all the way up to almost Z. It frustrates me big time because it's almost like they're living off the coattails of us, people who are gay. They want to be trans, they want to be non-binary, they want to be, various different identities. And I just think a lot of it's for attention, and it really does frustrate me because I think that they're living vicariously through us. I really want to have the conversation with my opposite today because hopefully I can get through to them and maybe make them think about their own opinions and their own perspectives on things. And likewise, I want the same in return.
With Declan ready and waiting, let's meet his dinner companion for the evening.
I'm Luka, I'm 31 and I'm from Dublin. My passions are gender and sexuality, women's rights, and just rights. I'd like to meet someone today who has different views from me, the type of person that I'd meet in everyday life who doesn't really get me or the whole gender thing. My opposite could be a man or a woman who believes that there's only gay and straight and there's only man or woman. They might not agree with transgender, they might not agree with all these labels, but I like to meet someone that I can show my experience that labels are just labels. It's their personality that matters and it's their soul that matters. I'm pretty sure I might be able to convince them a little bit more, depending on how tight their cogs are turned. I'm a trans woman, this is my life, I live this life, and I think these are conversations worth having. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm Luka, nice to meet you.
Huh?
Luka, nice to meet you.
I won't say what's the crack because I actually hate that expression. Like, whose crack are we talking about anyway? Wow. Honestly, I thought to myself, are we even going to get on? Because she was everything that I kind of figured I wouldn't get on with. Figured that we were going to see just completely opposite ends of the spectrum, opposite ends of the table, opposite ends of everything. What is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make?
Jesus, do I want boobies or not? No. I suppose transition, I suppose, was a pretty difficult one because I was caught between two worlds.
Okay.
So the world of being involved in, the gay community, and I was being myself as a gay man, and then there was something not right. So then I was like, I want to be feminine, but I didn't have any understanding of it back then. I'm 31 now, so I transitioned when I was like 19. So
wow.
It was a different. It was a different world. So that was a difficult decision for me.
Are labels ever important?
So I think labels are important to understand things, but I don't think they're important in the sense where we use a label before we use someone's character.
How do you find the way it's gone from the LGBT community up to almost Z now?
I feel that's just people who have been ostracized and outcasted, like myself.
Okay.
And we're just all trying to make sense of it. But at the end of the day, we need to break that down, because if we're going to really accept each other for who we are, it doesn't matter. That's the whole point of acceptance, is that it really doesn't matter that your character and everything else is built, your identity, how you dress, it's all built,
It's almost like everyone wants to just jump on the bandwagon now because it's the thing to do. It's almost a fad. And it's not a clothing line, come on. I mean, it's sexuality, it's lives we're talking about here. It's people's personal lives. So do you believe that in terms of someone saying they're non-binary, or somebody saying they're like, what else? What's the other labels? My goodness, there's so many of them. I'm actually getting lost here. Do you think a lot of that's for attention? Because it's almost like everyone wants to jump on the LGBTQ bandwagon.
Yeah,
I find that.
So I don't know about attention. I was bullied, and a lot of kids are bullied. People who identify as non-binary are probably bullied. So I think people should learn to project themselves as they are without trying to make sense and look into it too much.
People may identify as something without actually knowing exactly what it means, and thinking, well, you know what, maybe I am this, but then maybe, say, weeks later, identifying as something else.
When I started to transition, I identified as gender fluid for years because I didn't want to have to change my voice or go on hormones.
Okay.
I still don't take hormones.
Okay.
I got a big pair of bazookas, but
come in handy, Jordan.
They come in handy in the queues for the nightclubs.
Well, there you go.
That's just our culture again, and I feel that When I was younger, I identified as gender fluid. But then as I got older, I was like, I'm just comfortable with my body. I'm just me. I mean, I suppose the label would be trans, but I mean, I'm just myself. I mean, I know very much that I'm not biologically female and I'm very comfortable with that.
But I admire that. The fact that you're actually sitting here saying that to me, that you're happy with who you are. Why should anyone be bothered by that?
100%.
You're being real with
what
it.
I think, Declan, I feel that I felt a need to put on a certain voice to be valid as a woman, to start walk a certain way,
Right.
or to take hormones, but none of that is true. If your identity as a feminine person is your identity, you don't have to follow any rules for that identity. I've navigated through all those tunnels and all those doorways, and I have little tools and little keys to navigate around. So I'd like to be able to help younger people or people who are lost and show them that there's so much more to life if we just have these conversations openly. And I find I've met a lot of trans people that I've been at loggerheads with that don't agree with a lot of my views, and they think that I'm not a real woman because I don't take hormones.
Okay.
Your femininity and everything about you, what you are, is not defined by one thing.
It's not in a pill.
Exactly. We're like a Portuguese man of war. We're bits of everything.
We are. I hadn't really met trans people up till now. Everything that I knew of them or thought about them was either on social media or on television. So she was completely the opposite of what I had expected her to be.
We divide ourselves based on our genitals, and that's like the be all and end all, but there's so much more to our body parts. It's just flesh, it's transformative, it's temporary. So the soul and the person's character is so important. I think we're getting to a place, I'd like to think we're getting to a place where that's been understood.